Hey guys, Aries Comics here. This is issue 5 of Justice. We're back after we left off with the heroes, pretty much each one of them in very, very grave danger. They're pretty much all been defeated. We see Martian Manhunter escaping, Gorilla Grodd's mental projection of fire, which is like the Martian's greatest weakness. And we have also Flash here running in basically circles, trying to come after Superman, but he's just not getting there because he's running so fast. Um, and we saw him running on water in one of the panels in the last issue. And here we have John, but he's not like seeing Flash because presumably he's going too fast. But he's kind of realizing this is a conspiracy because everyone was hit at the same time, so it has to be something planned. Um, Flash can just say he's coming after Superman, so we're back with Aquaman, who's kind of fainted over here. We have Brainiac, Lex Luthor kind of teleports to him. He still has that glowing purple energy. And it's kind of funny. So Luthor says, is Aquaman still here? And then Brainiac says, as ever, Luthor, your powers of observation are without peer. Well, we all need our hobbies, don't we? Says Luthor. Is he dead? And Brainiac replies, does it matter? And there's this big rivalry between Luthor and Brainiac kind of going in the DC Comics because they're both adversaries of Superman, and both of them have plans that are pretty much opposite of one another, but sometimes they kind of come together just to defeat Superman. This is, one of those instances, and they're both highly intelligent. That's kind of their primary attribute, if I would say. And they kind of recognize this fact that they're both plotting against each other because their goals are so different from one another. So I know you're plotting against me, Luthor. You read minds, Brainiac? No, we all have our limitations, don't we? That's why we need each other. Fine, we're all necessary evils then. To my knowledge, the members of the Justice League are dead or incapacitated. I'm waiting confirmation, of course, and their absence is helping our public consider our benevolence. Do you have the cities? And he says yes. So we've been seeing these giant black balls, which sounds very, very weird. But regarding that interpretation of it, is this right now they're small black balls, but I think that when they come in contact with water, they become large and they house cities inside them, and we don't know yet what they're for. And we have these. Then we cutscene. We have these people. We're back at the Superman fight, and all these people are seeing Superman, and they can't really believe they're seeing this because Superman is kind of defeated here, and then Bizarro spots them, and I just love this art right here, where Bizarro uses his. So Bizarro is like opposite Superman, so instead of like laser eyes, he has like freeze vision or something like that. So these people are being frozen, and then Metallo here says, "Goodbye, Mr. Kent. Is it? Is that who you pretend to be?" And then there's a thunder, and everything kind of goes to hell because that thunder is no one else but Shazam. So kind of beats all of the villains in a flash, and then we have this great imagery here. I love this image. It's okay, Superman, I got your signal. It's going to be okay. And just look how good he looks here. He looks very majestic, very superhero-ish, pretty much like a demigod, which is how Shazam should look like. um, he punched Bizarro basically out of the atmosphere. He quickly, he uses the kryptonite from Metallo to incapacitate Parasite, because when Parasite absorbs someone's superpowers, he also gets their weaknesses. So he dispatches then Parasite easily. Solomon Grundy is still knocked out. Don't worry, Superman, I've trapped him, but you need help. Then Bizarro comes back, but by the time they fly away, that is Shazam and Clark Kent, and then we see this mysterious purple portal, which until now it heralded the coming of Luthor. Must I do all of your thinking for you? You didn't just steal Superman's powers, you stole his weaknesses too. You could have died, Parasite. And he takes the kryptonite from Parasite, puts it back in Metallo, So these villains are kind of recovering still, but they're okay. Remember that you don't deserve to live, he tells Bizarro. He's kind of mad because if Superman escaped, the Justice League can basically come back together. Then we get this very, very interesting and introspective part with Diana. By the way, like I've noticed this, like after too many issues, like each of the heroes, their bubble when they're narrating, their thoughts. You know, it's not a bubble, but you know what I mean. It has kind of like their signature style. It's pretty cool. The first name I knew ever was daughter. I remember my mother holding me in the dawn. I remember the sea. I remember her telling me that I was a gift and that I was beautiful. Um, we also have this dialogue between Cheetah and Wonder Woman, and well, Cheetah went to Persephone or Persephone. I don't know how to say that. Persephone sounds so weird, but I guess that's the American way of saying it. Um, she took cheetah blood in exchange for Heracles' lament, the centaur's poison. And then one will still believe in the goodness of Priscilla Rich, um, that she's not an animal, things like that, that she can be redeemed. My mother never wanted me to leave her, never wanted me to become the Amazon ambassador to the world. There was a contest among the Amazons, a test of endurance and wisdom, to see who would become Wonder Woman. It was forbidden for me to enter. She just never wanted me to see me hurt. So I wore a mask, I disguised myself and won the contest and hurt my mother with my betrayal. Um, and then there's kind of this cool scene where she uses the lasso of truth to kind of get Cheetah to, take her down for a bit. And she says, "You're sick, Priscilla." And then she seems to like kind of get out of the trance for a bit. Um, but at the end she escapes, so she goes away. Then remember the scene back with Oliver in Dinah Land, so we're back to this, and she sees Oliver in kind of this bad shape, so she cries her canary scream, which destabilizes Clayface, also the Scarecrow behind her. And then Oliver Queen gets to use this lamp to electrocute Clayface. They're kind of setting a trap for her, but her canary scream kind of defeated them basically. I was so afraid, so very. You're alive. Okay, maybe not that bad of an idea. Why didn't my scream affect you? And Holly takes his earplugs out and says, "What? You had earplugs in? Thank God. How did you know?" "Well, Clayface took your form to get close enough to me to kill me. He must have thought you have blonde hair. I just thought you were wearing the wig." And then Black Canary says, "The wig? And you thought that's why you..." So the implication is he thought they were going to have like kinky sex or whatever. So he prepared himself for like the screaming by having earplugs, and that's how he kind of got lucky in this situation. We see now Martian Manhunter going straight to Carter Hall, the Hawkman and Hawkgirl, in this museum, kind of destroyed by Toyman, as we saw in the last issue. It was Toyman John. Toyman did this, but why? It wasn't just him, Hawkgirl. It was all of them. And I kind of love how you see this in his eyes right here. You have Gorilla Grodd, and then you have some other supervillains. I think this is Sinestro here. And then this is Captain Cope. Like these two in the middle, I have no idea who they are. We then have Hal Jordan asking his ring, "Where are you?" And then, "Your question cannot be answered. Why not? No stars have been located within this ring's proximity. The conclusion is that you are not in any previously mapped area of space. How did I get here?" Sinestro used a boom tube device from Apocalypse to transport you across the universe. Can you replicate the device to transport us back to Earth? No. That technology is beyond my capability to replicate or your ability to will into being. So he's kind of trapped here. How much longer before your charge runs out and I die? And I kind of love this imagery here where he's at first, you kind of see the light glowing out from him, and you think it's not that bad. It kind of like the light kind of hides in a way the looming darkness and the vastness of space. It's, it's a cool trick, to be honest, a cool visual trick. And then you kind of have a pan out and you see how little that actually does. So in a close up, doesn't feel that bad, but then you kind of have like a zoom out and it looks very, very bad. Um, and when I read this, oh my god, this page, I love this page, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why. So one of my other playlists is the Batman Black Case book, and it's a bunch of stories from the Golden Age and Silver Age, which are goofy, but like all of these things, like most of them that you see in Batman's cave. So like the dinosaur, the Joker playing card, the huge penny here, all of these come from Golden Age. I mean, they've been repurposed, so the stories kind of have been reinterpreted, but their origin is still there. They appear there first, and every time they kind of reinterpret them, they don't really do that much to them. They just, make them a bit more modern, but the most of the story is the same. So I want you guys to like look very close here. What do you see? What do you see? This is a costume, the first Batman, and that holds a very, very special place in my heart because I read that story for my playlist, and oh my god, it's a very good story. So I know Silver Age and Golden Age stories get a lot of crap, and honestly, they're goofy, they're silly, but they're kind of fun. I wouldn't recommend them for someone who doesn't really read comics or just like jump into them. It's not really the way you should do it, and even before I started comics, everyone told me that because you kind of have to prepare yourself for the medium, absorb the medium, in a modern fashion, which kind of lets you navigate it more easily because you have other things you're accustomed to, and then kind of move backwards from there. But man, they were fun. I mean, they're goofy, they're silly, but if you take them as they are, they can be pretty fun. I mean, you're not gonna find the best stories, but some of them had very, very good potential. I actually read a couple more than I should have for that playlist. But anyways, so I really freaked out when I saw that page. I mean this page. So I kind of get when comic book fans see something in a panel and really, really appreciate it, or see something in a movie that's very dear to them. So I had my moment. That moment was then. Batman, Superman, he was attacked. Good Lord, Clark. Why did you show him the entrance to the Batcave? You've compromised my mission once again. Put him over here. So I don't know who's he referring to. Like that other guy, Superman let in the cave. Don't worry, Batman will never tell anyone about that place, which is really cool, by the way. And the Batman gives him like the Batman stare, the Batman look. Maybe this will make you feel more comfortable. And then she says Shazam. And I don't know how this lighting came in. It's a really good question because did it travel like through the manor? Like there's like questions about that. Are you out of your mind? Lighting in a cave. I'm sorry, Batman. I didn't think it would be so loud in here. It's magic lightning, anyhow. Oh, magic lightning. That makes it okay then. How could you do this, Superman? You brought a child into the cave. And then Superman says, "Should I tell Robin?" Which I found very funny. So they kind of have a dialogue about like loss, and Bill Batson says, "More than you think, Batman. I've lost, people. I just want to help." And then Superman and Batman kind of have this discussion about what's happening. No charter member of the Justice League responded. Is everyone okay? What about Aquaman? Has anyone seen? And then he kind of sees this small movement. Bruce Wayne kind of sees the kryptonite. He's hiding, just punches him, which is a very cool shot. And evidently, like Superman's kind of not doing the full strength thing. Otherwise, his head would probably fly off. Holy moly, are you crazy? You've killed him. I'm not strong enough yet, Bill, but he was trying to kill me. He thought his glove would conceal the kryptonite. There's something inside Batman. As my vision retained, I saw them. Them? Microscopic mechanical worms. They're fused in his nerve endings. They're in his mind. He's full of them. Worms? And so we will build the new cities for new humanity. And this is kind of in the background. of that speech Lex Luthor was giving. Batman is being controlling. I think he's, and then Superman kind of sees those things in him too, um, and then Alfred takes Billy Batson hostage. So regarding scene, because like Bill Batson kind of escapes because he's being held at the mouth, so he can't be Captain Marvel, but kind of escaped just by using his wits. Um, but I don't like that whole mechanical nanites worms controlling minds thing. It's mind control is my least favorite trope of superhero. I think it's just like so lazy. Um, it was primarily used so you'd get like fun team ups, fights, like this group versus that group, or like they're both allies. So normally they'll never fight each other, but they have these plots. Um, how do you call it? Plot no, plot MacGuffin kind of, where there's something mind controlling like two heroes fight. So and I never like that. I would prefer I much more prefer like ideological fights where one hero doesn't get redeemed necessarily, so his status goes from hero to kind of vigilante or anti-hero, or something like that, instead of oh you're mind controlled, everything is okay, we're back to normal. I really don't like that. um, so Superman tells Shazam um, that they have to be burned out of him before they take control of his mind, and he's gonna have to throw him into the sun, um, which was pretty cool. So, um, I mean, I know I made a lot of comments about the issue and some of the plot points, but I really hate the mind control thing. I kind of not ruined the comic entirely for me, but kind of detracted from it. So, if you guys played Mass Effect the series, or probably you've heard of the controversy regarding the ending, but for me the game broke down, or the series broke down much more earlier. So um, if you haven't played the games, I'm gonna summarize them as quick as I can. So blah blah blah, future of humanity, you have alien races, whatever, they band together and they kind of have this galactic council sort of a thing, but they have these ancient proto machines, hybrids, biological hybrids. I'm not really sure what they are. I don't really remember. But what they do is come every X amount of years, like 60,000 or something like that, and they pretty much cleanse all of life, and that kind of lets other life who hasn't gotten to that point yet bloom and take shape, and then it comes around and around and around. And these all of these aliens kind of band together to fight them, and this happens like every cycle. So you discover this alien race, which is I think kind of alluded very briefly in the first two games. You discover one of them is in the first stage or something, and you get him, and that was pretty cool. That wasn't bad. I remember the reception for it because you had to get, like, he was a paid DLC character, so you didn't really need him to finish the story or anything, but like he felt important and integral to the story, so that was kind of a controversy of itself. Um, but that aside, at some point you kind of in your journey, in your quest to stop these guys because they're about to come, um, you kind of discover this mega Death Star weapon thing that every race before kind of added something to, but no one actually finished it. So you're pretty much going to have to finish it. When I discovered this, I was like, bruh, this sucks, because in the first game it ends with just one of these ships coming, so they have kind of one of them staying in, kind of surveying stuff, not engaging, and I forgot how it happens, but they kind of go in and have to fight this giant ship, and you barely kind of like have to sacrifice stuff. It's a bare win, almost a Pyrrhic victory kind of. and I was thinking, man, like when the game was being promoted and stuff, saying, man, like imagine how much effort it took to take one of these guys. Imagine like how many of them they come, and it was promoted having you having decisions regarding who you take, like strategic battles that you're gonna have to delegate people to. And in the second game, you kind of do that at some point. You have like, but instead of like troops, you kind of do like with individual characters. So I thought in 3 we were gonna do that. You're gonna be like this commander of the whole fleet, or something like that. You're gonna send that fleet over there, and like tactics like that. But no, instead you kind of go and find this stupid weapon and assemble it, and oh my god, it ruined the whole plot for me. So yeah, I hate stuff like oh, there's a super weapon which is the only thing which beats the villain, or like tropes like mind control. Mind control, nothing matters. I hate that. So that's my little rant there with plot points I hate. But I'm gonna end this video because this been going on for a while. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, leave a comment with what tropes you least like, what's your favorite trope in comics. If you played Mass Effect, leave a comment about that. Maybe leave a comment on my idea of the Mass Effect franchise, and how they dealt with the ending. Especially like, I think it's called, like, the weapon is called Crucible. So if you have any opinions on that, leave them here. Any opinions on the comic, what you think is gonna happen, any opinion on the amazing Alex Ross. What I like about Alex Ross is that he venerates superheroes. He really treats them with respect, and his art is kind of the, in a sense, ultimate form of comic book art in regards to how highly these heroes are respected by the creator. Yeah, so just like the video, comment on it, and please subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.